Alrighty guys, what's up? It is Wednesday. So we are doing a collab, me and my friend Charmaine. We're gonna do book related questions. So if you guys are just popping on, you happen to see this video, you've never been on my channel before, me and Charmaine do book club videos every Monday. This Monday we just announced the book that we are reading for May/June because we read our books for 5 weeks. So it's a good one. It is part of a series though. We read part 1 and part 2 together as a book club. If you guys are interested, go watch Monday's video. But anyway, we are going to do some general questions, and then we're going to do, I believe it's would you rather, and then reading habit based questions. So the first question is, what book are you reading right now? And I am between books. I just finished a book club book for April, which was Daisy Jones and the Six, and I have not started the next book club book. I will be starting it soon. I don't want to say what it is. If you want to know, go watch Monday's video. But I am listening to an audiobook. I listen to an audiobook at all times, in the car, on the way to work, when I'm leaving work, when I'm cooking, cleaning, washing dishes, all those things. What book? Oh, I'm listening to Binding 13. It like blew up on TikTok. I'm very, like barely into it. And honestly, to be honest with you, I am having a hard time getting into it. I know some people who did DNF it, but I also know other people who loved it. So I'm trying to give it a chance. I think if it was a physical book, I'd be doing better. I think it being an audiobook is not helping because the main characters have Irish accents, and I'm really struggling to get into it. And I'm surprised. I usually like accents. Like I love an English accent. And I tell you guys all the time, I come from immigrants. Like my dad has an accent. But I don't know. I'm really struggling to get into it. And I'm also like just have a lot on my mind right now too. So that could be why. If you guys want to know if I enjoyed it, I'm probably going to do a book wrap up the end of May. I tend to do it. I've been trying to do it once a month, but it's tend to be every other month kind of thing, because I think the last one I did I do April or March? No, I think I did March. I think I did February and March together, so maybe the end of May I'll do April, May. But yeah, currently I'm listening to Binding 13. Number 2, can you remember what your parents used to read you before bedtime? No, I do not have a good memory of my childhood. I wonder if they even read me bedtime stories. Not that my parents want to read me bedtime stories, but my dad, it would have to be in Portuguese, but my mom definitely could have read us some bedtime stories. It's possible. She was a big reader, and then Facebook took over, and she started playing like Farmville and Candy Crush and all those crazy things. But she had just got back into reading again, which brings me so much joy because I love talking books with her. She's currently reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which, if you guys know, that is my all-time favorite book. So I'm happy to hear that she's reading again. I'm curious. I'll have to call her and ask her if she's ever read me books when I was a child. Number 3, what is your favorite childhood book? I remember really loving like the Judy Blume books when I was younger. I will say, like, I always enjoyed reading, but I definitely think it's more of a thing for me now as an adult than it was for me as a child. 4, do you read multiple books at one time or just one? No, I don't know how people read multiple books at once. I follow tons of bookstagrams. They're always reading like 5 or 6 books at a time. Not my style. I have to do one at a time. The only exception is I will listen to a book and read a physical book at the same time. But to me, it's easy to disassociate them because they're on different platforms. You know what I mean? Like one I'm listening, one I'm reading. But I could never like read 2 physical books. I feel like I would get the characters confused, the storyline confused. So yeah, I only read one book at a time, like physically read, but I do read and listen to books at the same time, if that makes sense. Number 5, how do you pick the next book you want to read? Honestly, sometimes it's totally random. Sometimes I'm like, hey Joe, grab me a book off my bookshelf. Or sometimes I will be like a new book I just purchased, or one that I saw on Bookstagram, or one that I've really been itching to do. Sometimes it'll be my blind date with the books. Not blind date, advent calendar books. If you guys are new to this channel, me and Charmaine open 2 books every single month. It's the first Sunday of the month. And it was like Christmas gifts we bought ourselves. We basically wrapped up 24 books, and we can't see what they are because there's wrapping paper on them. And then we also include a little treat. So I have like tea bags, stickers, a face mask, stuff like that, eye masks, and I unwrap it. And it's supposed to be the book I read for the month. It's not always works out that way. Some months I'm really busy and I only read the book club books. Some months I am able to read it. Summer's around the corner, so I'll definitely be reading more soon. But yeah, it can honestly be really random. It's either one that I'm in the mood for, one that just came out, one that Joe randomly picks off a shelf, one from the Advent. Very sporadic and random on how I choose my books. Number 5, how do you pick? Oh, that's what I just did. Yeah, sorry. Number 6, where do you like to read? I usually read in like the same 3 areas, and it's usually on the couch, in the bed, or I call it my reading chair. It is just like a big oversized chair that I have in my entryway on the side of my bookshelves. That is where I'm the most comfortable reading, and it's like my favorite reading spot, but it's the one I read in the least because I tend to leave a lot of junk on that chair. Not so much junk, more like whatever coat I wore that day. But then if I wore a different coat yesterday, or maybe not so much coats, but like sweaters, I get lazy and I don't hang them up. I need to get better at that. As soon as the school is over, I need to do like a whole freaking deep clean of my house because I would like to have my reading chair back. Number 7, what's your reading goal for 2024? So I actually just surpassed my reading goal. I'm not sure what I want to do, but my reading goal for last year, for 2023, was to read 2 books a month. So if there's 12 months in a year, that's 24 books. And I did exceed that goal. So this year I told myself I didn't want to give myself any pressure because this year I am now not only working full-time and doing YouTube, but I'm also a student. I started school back in January. So I told myself what I'm going to do is instead of saying like, 2 a month, I'm just going to say 25 books in general. So some months I might not read any, some months I might read 1 or 2. I didn't want to give myself that pressure, and I still wanted to exceed the goal from last year. So I did by 1 book. So I went from 2 books a month equaling 24 books to 25 books. I just read my 25th book. Daisy Jones was my 25th book. I was debating on doubling it and maybe doing 50, but I also don't want to pressure myself. So tell me what you guys think my reading goal should be, because I was debating on changing it on Goodreads. Number 8, do you enjoy rereading books? If so, do you have one you've reread more than most? Honestly, I would have said no. Normally, I don't reread a book because to me, once you read it, you already know what happens. I'm not like as excited about it. You know, that's where I like to read. I wanna watch the story unfold. That's why I tend to pick up a book and then just like read and not want to put it down because I just want to know what's gonna happen. Whether it's a thriller, whodunit, whether it's romance, are they gonna be together, not be together kind of thing. But for June, we read not Daisy Jones, oh my God, same author. We read 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And that was actually a reread for me because I read that book in January of 2022. It's what got me back into reading. And I decided to, obviously for book club, I wanted to have it fresh in my mind. So I decided to reread it. And I didn't think I was going to enjoy it, but I actually ended up really, really liking it. Even though I already knew the ending, even though it wasn't going to be as jaw-dropping, it wasn't going to be as like, oh my God, like it was the first time. I still enjoyed it, and I picked up on things I didn't pick up on the first time. I actually took notes because I knew we were reading it for book club. So I will say, I guess I do enjoy rereading books if it's a book I really, really like 7 Husbands. And then the next part of the question, if so, do you have one you've reread more than one, the most? And obviously, so far, I've only ever reread 1 book, and it's 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I will say, though, this is what a coincidence, it just showed up on my feed yesterday. But on my feed yesterday on YouTube, I think because I've been having struggling sleeping, I've been listening to like rain sounds. And something popped up on my on my YouTube. And it was rain sounds with a story. And it's a man reading Twilight with the rain sounds in the background. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And I actually listened to like the first chapter yesterday before I fell asleep. And I did sleep pretty good. So that is, I guess, another one I would be rereading, even though it's more listening. But yeah, because I already read Twilight and I'm rereading it again as an audio this time. And they just released New Moon. So I might end up doing the whole collection again. I don't know, we'll see. Number 9, how many books do you think you own? So I have 3 big black classic bookshelves. And then I have 3 very small, I call them glass cabinets, because they're not necessarily bookshelves. They're like display stands. They're from IKEA. You can display anything in them. I've seen people do Legos. That's what where I got the link from. It was from Sarah Ray Vargas, a big YouTuber. Her daughter and son build Legos, and that's how she displayed them. But you can literally use them for anything. I've seen people use like just to decorate their living room and put decor on them. I do have books, but not just books. Those shelves are kind of very eclectic. I have some decor, I have some books, I have fake flowers, I have candles. But I would say I would have at least 300 if I had to guess. Maybe 350. I would say on each standard bookshelf, I probably have over 100. Never mind counting the 3 glass cabinets. So I would definitely say over 300 books. Now I kind of want to read them and know for sure. I wonder how many Charmaine has. She must have a bunch because she has a whole little library up in her house. And then number 10, who's your favorite author? I don't think it's going to surprise anyone. I've mentioned before, Taylor Jenkins Reid, Show 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. I also really enjoy Christina Lauren, Emily Henry, a lot of like romance authors. And then for thrillers, I love Karen M. McManus. She read One of Us is Lying, One of Us is Next that we read for book club. She wrote. What did I say? I don't even know. I also really enjoy Frida McFadden. I loved The Inmate. I love The Housemaid, which we read for book club. I actually have a few more books of hers in my Target cart because Target's doing a sale, and I'm even in the Fadden McFadden fan club on Facebook. She is an incredible author. So those are some of my favorite authors. Then we go into Would You Rather. So number 1. Would you rather read 1 book per year and remember everything, or read 100 books per year and remember nothing? I think it would bother me if I remembered nothing. Like, I want to at least recall the main storyline. To me, what's the point of reading it? So I'd probably go with read 1 book per year. Curious to see what you guys think about that. Number 2, only read the first page of a book, or only read the last page. I mean, if I cannot read the book, and my only option is that last page, at least I get a general idea of what happened in the book. Especially if it's like a whodunit, the last page will kind of reveal the killer. Not always, but you know what I mean. But if I can read the book in the moment or in the future, I'd rather read the first page, not to ruin the storyline, if that makes sense. Number 3, read a book with an unclear ending that makes you wonder what the author meant, or one with a heartbreaking ending. I think I'd rather have the heartbreaking ending. I hate books that make me wonder. I want to know what happened. So even though I'll probably cry my eyes out, but there are some books out there that have heartbreaking endings that I absolutely love. That's what makes them good. So yeah, I think I would rather have the one with the heartbreaking ending. Number 4, be only able to read new books or only read rereads. I'd rather read new books. I don't do a lot of rereads. Number 5, read 100 books this year and never be able to read again, or read 1 book per year for the rest of your life. I love to read, so I would definitely do the 1 book per year and read for the rest of your life. I'd probably just read it very slowly, I guess, but I couldn't imagine not reading at all. All right, this is the last part, reading habits. 1, do you prefer hardcovers or paperback? I definitely prefer paperback. My sister-in-law is funny because she will not read hardcover books at all. I prefer paperbacks, but I will read either, especially if it's like one of the books I'm gonna read soon. It just came out, so it's only available in hardback. I don't think it's gonna come out in paperback till November, and like I don't want to wait till November to read it. So I will deal with the hardcover, but I prefer a paperback. Number 2, do you enjoy audiobooks? Yes, 100%. That is how I read a lot of books. Thank God, because Charmaine shares her app with me that allows me to listen to audiobooks. I started listening to audiobooks. I think she shared me on that app, I don't know, maybe a year ago. And it has made such a huge difference for my mental health. I'm an overthinker, so having an audiobook playing really helps calm my mind. So yes, I do really enjoy audiobooks. I used to obviously like listen to music in the car like most people do. But now it's rare I listen to music. I listen to audiobook on the way home, on the way to work. I listen to audiobooks when I'm in the shower, literally, when I'm cooking, cleaning, all those things. So yes, I 100,000% love a good audiobook. Number 3, do you read more at night or during the day? I tend to read more at night, especially when I can't sleep. It's the perfect little activity. During the day, I tend to be out and about. And And then I've tried reading sometimes a little bit after work, and I end up falling asleep. So I would definitely say I'm more of a night reader. Number 4, do you prefer to buy new books or used books? I've bought in both. I don't really have too much of a preference. As long as the used book is still in good condition, I'd probably prefer the used book because it'd be cheaper. But of course, if it's in really bad condition, I'd rather pay more and have a new book. So it probably depends more on the condition of the book versus whether it's new or used. Number 5, what is your favorite genre and your least favorite genre? I see all the time, I love like suspenseful thrillers and romance. If I had to pick one, it would probably be romance, at least right now in this frame of my life. If you had asked me when we first started book club in 2022, I was all about the thrillers. But since, I would say almost a year now, like since my grandmother passed away, I have been more into romances. My grandmother passed away, I picked up Happy Place by Emily Henry, and I just like got super duper into romance. I think I just wanted the happy ending, you know? So it's definitely, and I love a contemporary romance for sure. And then my least favorite, even though I like suspenseful thrillers, I am not a fan of straight horror books. I don't think I could read like a Stephen King novel or something like that. Like, I think I would be way too spooked out. I don't really do horror movies, so that's definitely like my least favorite genre. Number 6, do you have a go-to snack or drink to enjoy while reading? Honestly, I always have a water bottle with me. You guys are literally propped up on a water bottle right now. I always have a water bottle on my bedside table at home. Water is usually my go-to drink and snack. It all depends. Sometimes I'm in a salty mood, sometimes I'm in a sweet mood. So I don't have like a go-to one other than water. 7, do you annotate books? No, I do not. I have never annotated a book. I feel like that would stress me out. And I know that brings joy to some people and I'm happy for them. I think it looks beautiful. But I don't know, like to constantly stop and like, no, I did it once, but I didn't even annotate the actual book. I don't want to damage the book. When we did the reread for Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I actually just had a notebook like this on the side of me, and I would write the page number and like something specific that I wanted to point out. I never actually physically annotated the book. I feel like for me to annotate books, I would have to like highlight and do all the things, and I just don't want to do that to my books. So I've never annotated a book other than the reread for Seven Husbands, and it was done in a different way. It wasn't done in the traditional annotation way. Number 8, how do you keep track of books you read? So back in the day, I used to just have all the books I read on one bookshelf and all the books I didn't read on another. And then as I started reading more and more, I started doing it by rows. I would have, okay, that's the I read this row, I didn't read this row. But since 2024, I have gotten really good at getting on my Goodreads every time I start and end a story, which has been so nice to be able to all see it in the app, see when I started it, when I finished it, how many I read in a year, stick to my goal. I really enjoy the Goodreads app this year. Number 9, do you listen to music while you read? No, I just said I barely listen to music in the car, which is, I feel like, the most popular spot to listen to music. I'm definitely an audiobook girly. I think I would get so distracted by music if I was reading. I couldn't. Number 10, what makes you DNF a book? So this might shock some people, but I have never DNF'd a book. It might be happening with Binding 13. I don't know. I'm really trying to give it a chance. It is such a big book. So if I don't enjoy it soon, I will be DNFing it. What's making me stick out on it right now is because I do have a friend that loved it so much. There's been books in the past I've thought about DNFing. One was like a book club book. So I was like, no, you get through it. It's for a book club. And I did. Another one, I was like, it was very, very short. It was an audiobook. I think it only had like 5 hours of listen time. And I already listened to like 3. So I'm like, what's 2 more hours of my life? I can say I finished it. That's why I never end up DNFing a book, because it's like I give it a million chances and I just keep reading, and then by the time I'm like, okay, it's not worth reading this anymore. Like I know 100% I don't like this, but at that point it's like, I'm already 80% in, might as well finish it. Also, there was a book, I cannot remember the name of it right now. The something sister. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to look it up later. I can't think of it right now, but I'll never forget it. The first 100-something pages of that book dragged. I had such a hard time reading that book, but then it ended up being one of my favorite books of that year. This was back in like the C word time, 2021, whatever. So it was a long time ago, and I've read many books since that I love even more. But it just shows sometimes a book really can turn around and become that much better. And that's why I give books a million chances. So I've never actually DNF a book. But if you don't enjoy a book, I mean, don't waste your time. And I'm starting to see that more. So I might be DNF in Binding 13. We will see. But yeah, basically, if you're not enjoying it, why listen to it? But that was the last question. Like I said, I'm doing this with my friend Charmaine. I'm definitely curious to see how she answers these questions, the would you rather, the reading habits, the general questions. I know some answers to these questions. You know, we've been doing book club together. It'll be 2 years next month that we've been doing book club together. It brings me so much joy. I'm so glad Charmaine reached out to me 2 years ago and asked if I wanted to do book club. So like I said, if you like book content, I have book club videos every Monday. You guys are seeing this on Wednesday as part of What's Up Wednesday. So let me know what you're doing on this Wednesday down in the comments. If you want to answer any of these questions, you're more than welcome to. Don't forget to check out my friend Charmaine. She'll be linked down below. So like I said, it's book club Monday. Tuesdays and Thursdays are unboxings and hauls. Wednesdays, What's Up Wednesday, so it's different every week. Friday is vlogs. Saturday's my outfits of the week. And Sunday is usually either a bonus video, self-care Sunday, or I take the day off. So I post at least 6 days a week, if not 7. If any of that interests you, definitely consider subscribing. Hit that notification bell so you're notified next time I upload. If you like the video, you like me, you like these book-related questions, give the video a thumbs up. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. Oh, buses are pulling up. That's a good sign. It's 2:30. I got like 25 minutes left to go. But yes, now I'm just gonna chill out a little bit, and as soon as that bell rings, I am out of here. Normally, I'm on my prep period right now. I don't have kids. Normally, I would be getting some stuff off my to-do list, but considering it's the end of the school year, I don't have as much on my to-do list, which is great. So I figured I would get a YouTube thing off my to-do list. But yes, that is it for this video, guys. Be safe.